Welcome to part 2 series of Naavo training series. So in this series, we're going to talk about expenses and purchase. So as I mentioned before in my previous talk, the total profit that you see here up top is the total sales that has been occurred for that particular month, subtracted by the purchases and the expenses. So you can click on the eye icon here, information icon, to get that same details. So now let's add the first expenses here. So we already have a couple of expenses that I've already previously added. So we have the salary and the rent that we're paying for the shop. Let me go ahead and add one more item. So let's say now that I'm actually going to put in a utility bill. I would say it as electricity bill. And for this bill, I'm going to pay, let's say 200 rupees, right? So I have an option here to add the date of that particular expense, and also I can add the image of that particular expense for record keeping. Let me click on the add expense here. So now you can see that the bill has been added, the electricity bill, along with the previous two expenses that I've had before. So there is an option here on the bottom where you can see there is a pie chart. So that is the analytics that we provide in expenses. So if you click on that, you can see the breakdown of expenses by type. So you can look at what is the highest spend or highest actual expense, and that is 2000 rupees. That is 74% of your outlet in this particular scenario. And then you can similarly see the utility bill and also the salary. This is from the expense page. So the next thing that we are going to talk about are purchases. So purchases are items that you're purchasing from your vendors. So be it a raw material as a construction worker that you're trying to buy from, you want to track those purchases, or be it that you're a kirana store and you're purchasing raw material from or items at a discounted price from your vendors that you're going to sell as your kirana in your kirana store. So for purchases, as I mentioned before, the first thing that we have to add is the vendor. So if I scroll down, I already have a vendor here, which is vendor 2. You can use that same vendor in this exercise, but I'm going to create a new one. So it is very similar to what we've done for adding our customers in our previous series, but here I'm going to add a new vendor. So let me put it as vendor 1. Add a phone number. This is mandatory. Add the address. This is also mandatory. And then finish off with selecting the state. There are additional details as we provided in the adding customer page. So you have if the vendor is a customer too, you can do that. You can have a vendor as well as a customer both as a single contact. Add GSTIN, PAN or email address. For now, simplicity's sake, I'm going to just add the vendor. So now I'm going to go to the purchases now that I have the vendor, and I'm going to purchase some of the items that I'm running short on. So I'll just select the vendor, and here I have vendor 1, and then the dates, the same dates that we mentioned before. So the date first one is the transaction that is happening today, and the due date is going to be the date at which you're going to pay to the vendor to finish the payments. Next is to select the items. Click on the items, search for the items that you would want to refill. So let's say that I'm going to refill more bread, and I'm going to add 25 breads for my shop, for my store, and at a discounted price from the wholesale, I'm going to get it at 75 rupees per item. Add it here. Here what you can do is you can take the picture of the image that you can actually click on this particular image button where you can add the receipt, or what you can do is you can also do is add the transaction payments. So go to the payments, go to the payment mode, add cash, and then I'm going to pay off whenever I've actually made this particular transaction for this particular example. I add it and click on add. So this is how you actually add a purchase. Going back, that is going to reflect on your total profit. So now that you've added your purchases as well as expenses, that is reflecting here. So this ends the series. I would like to take an opportunity to thank you all for sitting through and listening in how to add a purchase as well as an expense. Please do visit Google Play Store and download the app Naavo, Naavo. And if you have any feedback or questions, please do reach out to us at contactnaavoinc@gmail.com. Thank you.